Browns back on the practice field today as they head towards Labor Day weekend and getting closer and closer to week one. This is kind of a week zero for them, a bonus week, if you will, post-training camp. And guess what, folks? They added another quarterback. Bailey Zappe, old buddy from last year, started week 18 against Baltimore, spent time here on the practice squad and as the team's third quarterback last season, Mary Kay. He is back, so the Browns are now back up to 4 quarterbacks overall, 5 quarterbacks in the building. So they just keep adding guys.
Well, it's kind of nice for them to have a veteran presence again on the roster at a backup position in the event that they need it. I think we all had talked about wondering if they were leaving themselves a little short in that regard. So now they've got Joe, and then they've got the 2 rookies, Dillon Gabriel, who's the backup right now, and Shedeur Sanders, who's the number 3. And then you've got Bailey Zappe, who is here as a guy who has started and won games before. He's almost on a Kenny Pickett level, if you want to think about it that way. So I like the fact that they have him there. I think he'll be good in practice. He'll be good for some of those younger guys in helping them to prepare for a game and whatnot. And he's just also a really good guy. Now, he did go out and start that season finale last year against Baltimore Ravens. Didn't go all that great. Threw a touchdown pass, 2 interceptions, 51.5 rating or something like that. So it wasn't a great start, but everything had gone to heck in a handbag by then. But Bailey's back, and I'm sure he's excited to be here.
Yeah, and Ashley, a part of me wonders, is this maybe a hedge a little bit if something were to happen early in the season, if they weren't ready to hand the reins to Shedeur Sanders, if Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel got it. We've talked about this, like sometimes the NFL changes your plan, so having a guy like Bailey Zappe available, that kind of gives you a little bit of a hedge if you aren't ready to hand things over to, I mean, they're probably ready for Dillon, but if you're not ready to hand things over to Shedeur.
Yeah, I think this just gives them a little bit more wiggle room with that, and we talked about that on the podcast yesterday, this idea of when you traded away Kenny Pickett, you traded away another veteran who has more experience, somebody who can really help in that backup role. Like Dillon Gabriel is going to be responsible for a lot, and now at least there's another veteran guy in that room with him that can offer advice and things like that. So I think, like you said, it just kind of adds a little something extra that hopefully they don't have to use, but they have the option.
Now, it was claim day. It felt a little bit like 2016 and 2017 around here when the Browns were right at the top of the waiver wire. They were second today going into claim day. They claimed 2 players, a cornerback, but Mary Kay, I think the most interesting guy was Rocket Sanders, a running back. That was a position that a lot of people had circled, only had 2 on the initial 53. Of course, the Quinshon Judkins situation is up in the air, and this is a very interesting prospect coming out of college.
Really is. I mean, people are very, very excited about this signing because he was extremely productive in college. They don't call him Rocket for nothing. You know that if you have a nickname like that, that you've got some explosiveness and some versatility and you bring something to the table. So he definitely had that in his stops in college, and now he joins Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson. I asked today, what does this mean about Quinshon Judkins? And nobody's saying anything about Quinshon Judkins yet, so we still don't know what's going on there. I still have a feeling he's going to be back with this team sometime soon. I don't know if it will include league discipline or not, but in the meantime, they now have rocket fuel in the room.
And of course, you know, we've talked about rookies who maybe weren't a part of training camp, how it can be a struggle sometimes, even for a running back to get back. So just to have another guy in that room, even if Quinshon is back sooner rather than later. Ashley, I don't know, they keep adding guys that played at South Carolina. Maybe this is all just a long game, do some background on Lenora Sellers or something. I don't know, but I know a lot of fans were excited about this.
Yeah, and I think overall just filling out that room is going to be key, right? And it was weird yesterday to look out there and only see 2 guys. Now, there were a couple more guys out there today because of the practice squad signings and things like that. But I do think it's going to be important. This is an offense that wanted to get back to running the ball more than they did last year. You're going to need more guys, just the nature of the position. So a good pickup for them.
And on the injury front, as we get closer and closer to week 1 on September 7th, Denzel Ward was back at practice today. Mike Hall was working off to the side. Ethan Pocic was on the bikes. Those are 3 starters we're keeping an eye on. But of course, Mary Kay, it's great news that Denzel is back on the practice field and full speed ahead to go against Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and whoever else the Browns want to throw him against in that Bengals high-powered offense, if I could talk.
Yeah, they really needed Denzel to be healthy for that game, and now he is back out there. He will be full go for that game with a shoulder injury that happened a week or so ago. So that's great news for them, and of course, they did go ahead and add that cornerback today, Jarek Bernard Converse.
Good job.
Thank you. So they have a little bit of depth in the room and a little bit more versatility if they need it, if they need to call him up from that practice squad. But a more full complement of cornerbacks now.
Yeah, and Ashley, again, when you're facing the Bengals right off the bat, no matter what, you've just got to be ready to face a potential MVP candidate in Joe Burrow. And like I said, just all of those receivers that they can throw at you, starting with Jamar and T. Higgins.
Yeah, I mean, Denzel is obviously going to be a key all year, but especially you're going to need him healthy early when it's arguably the toughest slate that the Browns will face in those first 6 games. So I 100% think it's great for them that he is back out there right now. And also, think about Denzel Ward versus the Bengals, his career play, I would argue, the 99-yard pick 6 in 2021. So he's a guy who, of course, always just gets up for that specific matchup.
Okay, we'll have full coverage of everything that happened today, everything going into Labor Day weekend, and, of course, getting you ready for Week 1 at cleveland.com/Browns.